Seen as I generally come by here, seen as they regularly do appear. Look here, they're drawing near, long together a cardinal pair, long together a pair. Ruby Father, well he knows her trusting color on rusty green rose. She perched far enough and close, dancing secrets through cold, cold air, secrets through cold, cold air. Seen as she's readying wings to go, seen as she's now flying low to the snow. He, as if missing and loving her so, hastens wild after sweet lady fair, wild after sweet lady fair. He suddenly perched on a bare dogwood bough, she deep in holly tree comforted now, her devotee, their eternal vows, destiny bound through abiding care, bound to abiding care. Seen as I generally come by here, seen as they regularly do appear, this fine pair is my daily prayer. Ordinary, precious and rare, ordinary and rare.
The poems that you put in your wallet. This one is deep and rich in meaning, as deep and rich as Sally's heart. And so, Mo, if you would come forward.
This is a poem by Charles Bukowski. It's called "In This Cage, Some Songs Are Born." I write poetry, worry, smile, laugh, sleep, continue for a while, just like most of us, just like all of us. Sometimes I want to hug all humankind on earth and say, God damn, all this that they've brought down upon us. We are brave and good, even though we are selfish and kill each other and kill ourselves. We are the people born to kill and die and weep in dark rooms, and love in dark rooms, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. We are the people. We are nothing more.
No matter how deeply you feel you know someone, you always learn some tiny something else at the memorial service. And it is with gratitude then that we welcome two who were close to Sally to share their own perceptions and memories of the ways that Sally affected their lives. The first is someone who Sally loved to call her boss. And the boss learned so much from Sally. So Jen, from City Harvest and from Sally's life, I welcome you.
Boy, would Sally love to be hanging out with us right now.
Yeah.
This is a party she wants to be present. So, like many of you, I thought I'd have more time to share my word to Sally. She was at a hospital really near to my house on the Upper East Side often, so I was able to go over there all the time and see her when I could. But then the last moments were so quick, I didn't have time to put into words what I'd want to say to her. So that's what I'm going to share with you, the letter I wrote to Beck, because Beck did say to us, send me a note, I promise you I'll read it to her. And so I took that moment to do that. So it's a personal letter, and so I'm going to read it. I'm going to try to get through it, but you guys did so well getting through that song, I should be able to do this. You're my role model there. Sally and Beck, I wanted to let you know how touched I am from our friendship and how much my friendship with Sally has impacted my life. First, we've had a lot of fun times together. Remember our meeting with Mrs. H and her eyeball viewing at us? She was really not very nice, and you were actually pretty right about her. I was just a chicken. Our laughter that brought us through almost all of our troubles, you introducing me as your boss, which is ridiculous. You were the wise one, I was just the one given the keys to drive. Building and running healthy neighborhoods, you always said you felt very lucky to be paid to do this work, and that viewpoint continues to inspire me today. I truly miss your inspirations. You are a willing drinking buddy, but always remaining so sensible. I think we never topped out at more than 2 IPAs. The last 5.5 years of knowing you and Beck have given me a new view on our city and our nation. The hours and hours we spent in my office talking about the migration from the South, the systemic racism that was felt by our Black communities, not only in the South, but right here at home, continue to resonate with me all the time. I understand much more now that you have opened my eyes to the reality of how difficult it is for people to live in a world where they are marginalized. A lot of these talks happened well before the nation was struggling with the challenges that we are with today, and before things like Eric Gardner, Trayvon Martin, or in Missouri with Michael Brown. Through you, I learned how to have really hard conversations with the people I love, and I learned how not to hide from the scary and really sad feelings I had when we would talk about the struggles of the people all around us. I tell you, I cannot watch shows or movies now that portray just one view. It makes me crazy. While ignorance is valid, it's not an excuse. Thank you for taking away my excuse. I love our talks on the phone. There have been so many while I walked home from work or to and fro meetings. I remember one night talking to you in the summer during Manhattan Hedge, the night when the sun races down the streets in pure gold. You were telling me some great stories, and I was glancing westward at every block. I was loving hearing your stories and the beauty of the summer night while the sun shined down the alleys and the avenues. I also remember well our drive in your little red car. I thought you were pretty cool. And the story about how you and Beck landed in that fantastic house you live in now. It was a really good story. And then I saw your home on the inside, and I fell in love with what you two created. I know I couldn't stop talking about it, sorry, but the place was super cool. You two are really cool. And that dreamy sandwich you made for me with that special cheese, it went down way too fast. I'm still owed a visit to your home in New London. I'm going to be sure to do that. You are my biggest fan, and you always make me feel so smart. How do you do that? I think you encourage me to think well and hard, to celebrate breakthroughs when they happen, and to not let the tide overwhelm me. Thank you, my dear friend. You are my mentor, my soul sister, and my truth sayer. Remember that time when I was going to take you out for your birthday, for your 60th birthday, to tacos? And I looked at you and said, do you really want just tacos for your birthday? And we ended up going to an amazing steakhouse and had a great night. Remember the other time when I was comparing myself in my swimsuit to my beautiful, busty friends? And I said, Sally, look at this picture of me. And you said, isn't vanity a bitch? Picture away. You are my dear friend. Cheers to you. Cheers to us. I love you, Frito girl.
Those of you who don't know me, but I know and love most of you in this room. So I've been asked to speak about Sally and my friendship and to share some thoughts. During what would end up being Sally's final hospitalization, we were lying together, curled up in her hospital bed, and we were watching TV. And the only thing on TV was curling, of all things. It was the only thing we were broadcasting of the Summer Olympics that day. And what a strange and compelling sport that is, though. We couldn't stop watching. But while we were lying there, she turned to me and she said, "I would really like for the memorial not to be sad." She said, "Please make it a celebration." And, well, buddy, you just can't take our sad away. But, thankfully, we are complex human beings. We are capable of holding on to more than one feeling inside of ourselves. Even though right now it doesn't always feel like we can do that. But I'm glad Sally's pushing me to go beyond pain and to feel the joy that is Sally. And so I want to talk about that. So let's celebrate Sal. Sal of the glass half full, never a glass half empty kind of gal.
God damn it.
Sal of the Pollyanna jacket. Sal who brightened our days with interesting and quirky YouTube videos and her inspirational emails. Sal the storyteller, never one to tell a short story when a long story would do it just well. Sal who combed the internet for just the right front door to her house, and it was such a bargain. Her internet shopping was legendary. At one time, when Beck, Sal, and Ruby were living with us at what we called the commune because their house was being renovated, one day Sally went out to her car to go someplace. I don't even remember where she was going, but she got to the door and found out that her car was sitting on milk crates and all the tires were gone. For me, that would have just put me into a total tizzy for days. But she walked into the house, opened her computer, and magically within 2 hours she was on her way again. I celebrate Sal, who had a brilliant, brilliant mind and knew so much about everything. During the time our careers in HIV overlapped, I so valued her incredible brain and picked at every possible chance I got. And early in my medical career, she taught me an invaluable lesson that patients, consumers, and activists could know a lot more about a disease than some expert just because they had the letters MD after their name. Sally was really a know-it-all. But I say that in the best possible way. Curious, intelligent, and avid reader, she could hold a conversation about anything, even if she was occasionally really loose about facts and statistics. Sal, who unfathomably to me hated mushrooms, but loved dogs, loved birds, a lover of gardens and farms, of oceans and kayaks, of friends and family, and most of all, Beck, Katrina, and Maisie. Sal of the big heart who loved all of us so fiercely. I had so many great adventures with Sal, and I will cherish them, but the one loss I will mourn strongly is that Sally really was my cheerleader and my champion. And I know I'm not the only one. Sarah said to me the other night, "Sal made me think that everything I said was so interesting." She cheered me, she championed me. When I received an award from New York State last year, I was pleased and proud, but kind of sheepishly and shyly emailed a couple of people about it. And Sal took that email and blasted it out to the world. So, Sally, I'm going to work to channel your voice inside of me and to try to be my own cheerleader right now. And I think that's something maybe we can all do for ourselves. But in fact, I also think it's something we can do for each other as well. What a great legacy for Sally to have created a big, beautiful community of cheerleaders. I miss you, buddy, so much. Thanks for shining your light on me for 35 years. I love you.
Sally Cooper was the biggest romantic on the face of the earth. She was that too. And she loved this song, Harvest Moon. And so we are so blessed to have Troy and Irene sing that great song.
I'm not Beck, so I need a microphone. Come a little bit closer, hear what I have to say. Just like children sleeping, we could dream this night away. But there's a full moon rising, let's go dancing in the light. We know where the music's playing, let's go out and feel the night. Because I'm still in love with you, I wanna see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon. When we were strangers, I watched you from afar. When we were lovers, I loved you with all my heart. But now it's getting late, and the moon is climbing high. I wanna celebrate, see it shining in your eyes. Because I'm still in love with you, I wanna see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you on this harvest moon. Harvest moon.
Third, Kate walks around our house muttering. It is intermittent, surprised and glow from morning to night. God damn it, Sally. It is a muttering that is born of a holy sense of shock and disappointment that Sally is gone. Yet our relationship with Sally continues on. At her epic 60th birthday party 3 years ago, Sally took a moment to express her love for and gratitude to her dearly beloved. I thank you, Katrina, for posting that video of that address, because there was something very telling in it. In part, Sally said, and these are her words, she said, "There's a room full of stories here. There's a room full of so many years of love and experience and pain and loss and joy, and you have shared all of that with me, with us." And she gestures to Beck. Swept up in the moment, she continues, "And we are going to share it for many, many, many more years." I remember that moment so clearly. The shared and magical wondering, no doubt, that was in every heart gathered there that night. A wondering that asked, dare we dream? And that wondering, that hope, was given voice with an immediate great cheer that went up among us all. Remember, Miriam, right? We just all started cheering. And Sally seemed to catch that wave, that cheer. And she says, "And I'm going to be there." But she stops herself, ever so subtly, right before she continues, right, Beck? Right before she continues, and she says, "And I am going to be there. You are all going to be there, because you are all together. Because you have got our backs in a way that we knew, but we didn't know." And in that subtle stop, she took herself out of our future story. She knew, but she didn't know that she would not get here with us. She knew, but she didn't know that we would not share many, many, many more years with her. But what she also knew, what she knew absolutely for certain and for sure, was that we would always have each other's backs. In the way that she and Beck experienced in the wake of Sally's diagnosis, her surgery, her chemo, and then, tragically, her recurrence. What she knew for certain was that with so much love in the room, we would all endure like she had endured. And more than endure, she knew that like her, we would live well and deeply, because we are all surrounded by the love and the care of amazing people, amazing family and friends. And farmer that she was, she cultivated these relationships, our relationships, the way she planned it mindfully, with reverence, with joy. Hear this classic Sally C. conversation. At the time, Sally was at the PWA Health Group. Here is Sal about 25 years ago as the fierce yet cool advocate and activist, speaking with Ivy, who was at the time 25 years old. Where are you, Ivy? I want to look at you while I'm telling the story. 25 years old. Sally, talk to him. Ivy, to who? Sally, your doctor. Tell him you don't want to take that medicine. Ivy, I can talk to my doctor? Weeks go by. Ivy, we talked to that doctor and the doctor is furious. Sally, you can fire him. Ivy, What? Soon thereafter, you, Ivy, became one cool, fierce activist and advocate, as you remain to this day. And you also became to Sally and then to Beck a beloved part of their family. Sally had that effect on all of us. You heard some of that from Rona and from Jen too. Those on whose behalf she advocated and fought in the boardroom, the meeting room, on the street, those with whom she advocated. We learned so much about sound, brilliant, strategic justice making, and more importantly, we learned about compassion. We learned about love, embodied love, unflinching, deeply loyal, clear-eyed, clear sea blue-eyed compassion, love. And she amassed a big and devoted family. Look at this room. Through her passion for justice and through her consistent encouragement that you heard from Rona, and consistent encouragement of and confidence in the spark of brilliance that she recognized in every single one of us. And because that encouragement came from smart, wicked smart Sally C. Cooper, there was a good chance that you would take it to heart, maybe even believe it. Each of us has a story that captures the ways that her eyes would light up when in the throes of new learning. And here is Beck's story. Ever the environmentalists, Sally and Beck were committed to powering their home on President Street with solar panels. And Beck assumed, as any of us would assume, that they would hire a contractor. And that would be that. However, Sally decided that she needed to become a certified solar installer to be sure that said contractor was doing it right. I still can't believe it. So down the rabbit hole she goes. She found the solar systems class, but she was not permitted to take that class until she took a prerequisite math class. And so to the Bronx she would schlep to take her math class, and then she took in time the solar systems class and then the certification tests. And we can all be assured that the contractors who put in place the solar panels in Brooklyn and New London did it right. Because Sally Cooper knew of what she spoke. She took delight in learning, ever curious. She read and she read and she read and she wrote to the very end, and her writing brought so much joy and perhaps a false sense that everything was okie freaking dokie. Cheery as the emails were, it was classic Sal. Susan Gubar wrote the book Memoir of a Debulked Woman. That is the surgery that one with ovarian cancer has. It's such an unpoetic name, debulking. So the memoir of a debulked woman enduring ovarian cancer. And Sally was a real fan of this feminist scholar. And in September, this past September, in an opinion piece, Gubar talked about the power of writing one's life and one's illness too. She wrote, "Words had provided a counterpoint to disease, a catalyst, a healing balm, and a use for pain, a perfectly safe and exceptionally cheap drug." For Sally, words, communication, were a healing balm. That connection, that loving connection that reached beyond illness and circumstance, that strengthened and lifted our spirits, hers and ours, through her long, long trial. And then finally, Her body would not fight off the ovarian cancer that she had tried so hard to keep at bay with 6 clinical trials, surgeries, I don't know how many chemo cocktails. She remembered how many?
13.
13.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. 1 is a lot.
One is a lot.
She remembered the boys who had hung on just long enough for the drug cocktails, just as sure as she remembered the ones who we loved and lost. And she was determined to be herself useful data for the research that would lead to a cure or at least better treatment. But by January, all signs pointed in a direction she did not want to contemplate. Still, she decided to throw the dice and have a surgery that was for her in the condition that she was in very risky, so risky that before rolling into the OR, she got in touch with me for what we jokingly named the just-in-case phone call. She had the colostomy because she wanted to live her life to the absolute fullest. She wanted more life. That the writing was on the wall didn't matter because for as voracious a reader as Sally was, she would not read said wall. Case in point, just one. One of Sally's greatest concerns about having this procedure was that she wouldn't be able to swim as though unencumbered come the summertime. She felt better once she was assured that it would not be a problem. And at the time, truth be told, there was an aspect of this concern that was slightly maddening. Bless your heart, Beck. But I took a walk down to the beach that Sally dreamed of, the beach in her homeland, before I sat down to write this eulogy, and it was only then, looking out at the crystal blue water beneath the crystal blue sky, it was only then that I finally accepted, compassionately, what at the time felt like magical thinking on Sally's part. She simply loved life that deeply. She loved to swim that much. She loved it so deeply that she pushed past every sign of doom and looked only for any sliver of hope on the horizon. Beck once said, as Rona referenced, that she was going to have made for Sal a Pollyanna varsity jacket. She would have worn it so well. She boasted in one of her beautiful emails a headline lifted from an ovarian cancer online group. I'd like to report that I have lived 100% of the days since my diagnosis. Indeed, she did. And for better or for worse, she held on to the hope that there would be more life to live. And none of us will ever be the same. Life will never be the same. But let it be known and let it be said in this place, in this moment, as we honor Sally's beautiful life, that our lives will not be the same and our lives will be so rich and so beautiful. We will not only endure, we will thrive. For all that we learned from her shining example, for what we most take from Sally's life is that she loved it all. She loved all of us so much. Katrina, she loved you so much. She was so proud of you. You confounded her. You pushed her, but you could never push her away. And you know what, honey?
You will never push her away. You have work to do because she believed in your brilliance. She was so excited to see you walking this path. And so shine on, Katrina. Shine on. We are all mourning not only the loss of our beloved Sal, but also the loss of what we all hold as the entity that is Beck and Sal. It's almost one single phrase, Beck and Sal. No one needs to tell you, Beck, that you were the apple of Sally's eye. Nobody needs to tell you about the peace and the happiness that she held as she held you in her life for 25 years. One of Sally's gifts to you is that you know. You know. But I'm saying it now, and I'm saying it out loud on behalf of all of us here who witnessed that great love, who aspire to relationships that are as mutually respectful, loving, supportive, and so beautifully romantic. Her living and her dying was full of peace and love and laughter. And you will shine light on her legacy for the rest of your life. And you will have help from all of us as you do so. We lived a time, dearly beloved, of careless violence and brutality. We have so much work to do, but at the root of it all, as Sally showed us, must be love and compassion. She knew in the poet's words that we are brave and good, even though we are selfish and kill each other and kill ourselves. We are the people born to kill and die and weep in dark rooms and love in dark rooms. We are the people. We are nothing more. We are nothing more. We are enough. And our love and compassion, our having the backs of those without power enough, we will save the world. I'm a little bit of a Pollyanna too. And so I conclude with Sally's words. On that magical night 3 years ago, Sally said to us very simply, she said, I really have just one thing to say to all of you, which is something I know. I love how she said it. I know that every single last one of you is so special and so wonderful and so fantastic. And she concluded, if I could, I would throw a party for you every night. So really, thank you, she said. Just know how special you are, because I do, and I want you to know every single day. And she ends, love you guys. We love you, Sal. God damn it. Sally C. Cooper. Presente. May she rest in peace. May she rest in power. May she rest assured. Amen. I invite you into a communion of silence as we hold Sally's memory close and dear, as we always will.
the ancestors' bread, in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never met. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things and to deeds. Listen more often to things and to deeds. 'Tis the ancestors' bread when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' bread in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never met. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to deeds. Listen more often to things than to deeds. 'Tis the ancestors' bread when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' bread when the voice of the waters. Listen more often to things than to deeds. Listen more often to things than to deeds. 'Tis the ancestors' bread when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' bread in the voice of the waters. Listen more often to things and to deeds. Listen more often to things and to deeds. 'Tis the ancestors' bread when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' bread in the voice of the waters.
Reading. Your part will follow mine, and you will just repeat what I say, and what I will say is, we will remember her. Say it with me now. We will remember her.
In the rising of the sun and in its going down,
We will remember her.
in the blowing of the wind and in the chill of the winter,
We will remember her.
in the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring,
We will remember her.
In the blueness of the sky and the warmth of summer,
We will remember her.
in the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn,
We will remember her.
in the beginning of the year and when it ends.
We will remember her.
When we we are weary and in need of strength,
We will remember her.
when we are lost and sick at heart,
We will remember her.
And when we have joys that we yearn to share,
We will remember.
So, as long as we live, she too shall live. For she is a part of us as we remember her.
We will remember her.
Sally and I spoke very little about the way in which we will remember her through this memorial service, but much to my surprise, relatively recently, she called and left a message for me, very excited. I want to talk to you about something. There's something I want to talk to you about. She was really excited. And when I called her back, she said, I want to talk to you about something I want to have happen at my memorial service. And she remembered that at my ordination, there was one element of that service, which is called, and some of you may be familiar, a laying on of hands. And this is taken and understood in different ways depending on the circumstance. But she wanted all of us to offer to Katrina and Beck a laying on of hands, a way of showing, embodying our support as they continue forward. She wanted Maisie here too, but we thought that would be too complicated. So we are going to do that as simply as we can, but as intentionally as we all are about supporting Katrina and Beck. And so I am going to invite you in a moment to rise in body and or in spirit. And I'm going to invite Beck and Katrina to come forward to this place. And you are all very simply going to reach before you, to the person in front of you, to the person next to you, and just place your hands on their shoulders, on their arms, and all of that connection, all of that support, and all of that energy will eventually make its way very powerfully to Katrina and to Beck. And then I'm going to invite you to sing with me, and you don't have to worry, there's so many good singers in this room. You just have to respond. You just have to sing what I sing, you sing it back. It's very simple, and it's a song of encouragement. So, Beck and Katrina, I'm gonna ask you to just come right here. And hold each other's hands. Yeah. And I'm going to invite you all to rise in body or in spirit. And to reach out in front of you. Got it? Got it. And we're going to call into the room those who are from away and could not be here. Many of Beck's siblings, nieces, and nephews. She has a big family. We're so happy Sophronia is here. We're so grateful. I'm sorry, Tom is here too. Yes, Tom is here too. And Peter is here, Sally's brother, and all of family, beloveds, reach forward and hold these two of broken hearts and sing with me. So I sing, you repeat. This is how it goes. Courage, courage, my friends, you do not walk alone. You do not walk alone. We will walk with you, and sing your spirit home. And sing your spirit
Say it with me. Faye! Amen. Amen. I invite you to be seated. Everybody take a deep breath. This is what's going to happen now. Beth will greet only those who she did not see at Shiva, because we want to give her a chance to relax a little bit. So if you saw her at Shiva, trust that you will see her again. If you did not, please come forward. She is ready to receive your love and support and condolences. There is so much beautiful food for everyone here to enjoy and imbibe and feast. It will be out here in a New York minute. Those of you in these sections are going to go away very quickly, and you may be part of that process, actually.
Don't leave.
And then in the back, like the last 3 rows, if you're not going to help, then get out of the way. So just move to the side, and Jane has everybody ready to go, right? I know, there's a bunch of really effective dykes in this room. And we're just going to get it done.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let us celebrate, let us feast. Bless you all. Thank you so much on Beck's behalf for being here.
Not to you. Well, you can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in a place of tomorrow. We cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You can strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. Strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. Though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in a place of tomorrow. You cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You can strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. Strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest Sally Cooper is a mighty bright light. I'm gonna let her shine, let her shine, let her shine, let her shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. I'll fly away.
I'll see you again, I hope. Hope I see you again. Yeah,
That's right. Look at the sunset.
All over the buildings, it's so beautiful.
Wow.